Good day to you. Today is the Old Sabbath, as I like to call it, the last hour of darkness before the dawn of a Saturday, the first Saturday in June. This is June 7th. I've been awake for a few hours. I keep strange hours, as many mathematicians do, and people who are into science are aware that there are certain times of intensity where you lose track of time. And God help you if you're on the clock because you're devoted to the truth or wisdom or the way of heaven and you can't be interrupted, you'll lose your job. But if you're blessed enough to be a white male, why, you might be able to get away with it if you have a PhD and you're working on numbers to somehow iron out a government program system of brainwashing or technology or some other horse shit. Well, then maybe you could do what you want. Certainly Sir Roger Penrose was able to do that. John Horton Conway was able to do that, two of my beloved teachers in science. Everyone has favorites. It's about 4:20 a.m., which is time for marijuana, but not 4:20 p.m., 4:20 a.m. Oops, it just changed to 4:21 a.m., so I missed my opportunity to smoke a joint. But happily for me, I was aware about 10 minutes ago of the imminence of 4:20, which, as everyone knows, is the ordained time of the mechanical clock invented by white monsters to tell you when it's time to smoke marijuana. I am higher than Gilligan's kite right now. I'm a very happy camper. This is the best time of day for a man in the northern Central Valley of California in June. This hour is the last hour of coolness. It was Steve, who was it? Coolth, that genius, who said, we have a word warmth. Warmth. Why don't we have a word coolth? So this is the last hour of coolth before the relentless, merciless heat of Northern Hemisphere sunlight. There's still water in our creek. It's been a very good year, as Frank Sinatra would sing. I'm well known for singing out on the bridge, and I've sung that song many times all over this town. I'm a very easygoing, lighthearted man. I love music. I play a lot of games. I'm known as a master chess. I'm a chess master. Highly admired by not very attractive ladies. But if you play music, like drums, God, I wanted to learn how to play drums. A very good friend of mine with whom I dropped acid at Pomponio Beach, back in the day, God, decades ago, way before you were born, statistically most likely true, for you beady-eyed, no identity listeners. I asked that wonderful man to teach me how to play the drums. We got as far as the paradiddle, at which time I realized, when you have a history, as I do, of dyslexia, like you think that left is west and right is east, and I think I even got that backwards, it's totally nonsensical construction. Well, I'm retarded. I'm a retard. All my friends played guitar. They listened to guitarists. They were just devoted as if that were God himself. It's probably Satan himself, as I've come to realize, but oh, I don't have that kind of insight. But all my friends were into the goddamned guitar. They all learned how to play the goddamned guitar, and they all played the goddamned guitar shittily. But they were happy. And I was a young man. I wanted to have friends. Those are the friends that God gave me. So I had to learn something. Oh, it took a while. But you know, when you're growing up, you don't have any choice. You play poker with these assholes? Huh, Jesus Christ. Poker? What are you doing? Well, I played pool, so I can't point the finger. So I hung out with my stupid ass friends. But one of them was a drummer. And he knew Mike Shreve, the drummer from Woodstock, who played the greatest drum riff of all time. Nobody denies that. Ridgely knew that guy. Well, I hope I'm talking to someone here. But we drove out, my friend Flip Lips, who got his name from Ridgely. Flip Lips the Jew. Flip Lips, the goddamn Jew, my best friend all my life. He saved my life. When I was homeless, he let me sleep on his couch. So it's a good thing I put up with him. The man was intolerable. The last of the real Jews. In the worst sense. But I loved him. God gave him to me as my friend. Well, God has a great sense of humor. Because poor Flip Lips had to put up with me. A fucking retard? Huh. What did he have? Oh, he let me know when I was living under his roof. When you're living under the same roof as a Jew, and he's the last Jew, there aren't any others, and there won't be any to come, the last fucking Jew. My best friend, I'm homeless. He said, I sleep on my couch. Oh, fuck. I don't care if he fucks dogs. He doesn't. He's a Jew. Jews don't do that. Jews are never homo. Although, I mean, these days, well, they're not Jews. If you're a homo, you're not a Jew. That's just the way it is. But this is days of, in the days when we were just young monkeys, we all dropped acid. But God in heaven, blessed be his name, arranged it. Because these jackasses would never again do what we did that one night. Which was to drop orange sunshine acid, LSD 25, delta lysergic acid, diethylamide. I knew a guy who knew how to make it. His name was Owlsley from Berkeley. Fuck Berkeley. Always hated Berkeley. But you see, you can't be that way or you won't get the blessings of heaven. So I was taken to the cleaners by those goddamn poker players. They love to rape me. I would keep coming back. Yeah, you're my friends. Because every now and then, I knew that I'd get my way. Let's go out somewhere in the forest or the fucking beach or mountains and do something real. We're growing. What are you going to play poker? You just going to rape retards like me? That's all you're ever going to do? Or play drums? What are you doing? Play chess? We did. Stay up all night playing speed chess. Ridgely used to attend, but then a woman got him. I just prayed, well, later, when I knew what might have happened to him, I just prayed that he didn't get a Zionist bitch, because that's a common ploy. Nah, I visited him just a couple of years ago on his birthday. He's fine. God, he's very fine. wait, he's doing a lot better. He says this. But we dropped acid out of the beach. And you won't look this up because you're lazy. But I'll tell you where the beach was. You know where San Francisco is anyway. No matter how retarded you are, you know where San Francisco is. Okay. So what's south of San Francisco? If you say L.A., your intelligence quotient is no higher than 20, what is south of San Francisco? Santa Cruz. Or if you're wise, Monterey. Monterey is the place, not Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz is just a haven for fucking drug users and surfers. I lived there for 14 years. Gee, I wonder why. Did I ever learn how to surf? Honey, I tried. I got a free wetsuit and a free surfboard. These kind of things happen in Santa Cruz. What is my point here? What am I leading up to? Well, you have to take the bad with the good. And you just try to disregard the bad. Sometimes you can't. Fortunately, Ridgely got a very good wife. I got a chance to meet her. She's fine. In the same way that I'm fine, I guess, because nobody's fine on this planet. We're waiting to go on to the next level. At my age right now, I'll say honestly, eye to eyeball with you, I can hardly wait. Oh, if I don't like pray for death, that would be blasphemous. Because God made me to be alive. Who am I to end my own life? It never even occurred to me. It never will. I wouldn't. But you know it's coming, and you might form a new attitude towards the imminence of death. Not like Woody Allen. You know, some trapped rat in New York. This is how I think of my good friend Rick, who saved my fucking life. Well, Rick hated Ridgely because Ridgely was a better chess player. And he also hated Flynn. Probably my closest companion in youth, since I spent fucking hundreds of days up just playing chess, because that's all he does is just play chess. Although he's a perfectly well-rounded human being, this fucking world, especially the Bay Area, is just going to be perverted. Well, so I played pool. So I'm not pointing the finger, but in old age, you just let it out, you know. You just remember, when you dropped acid, the one good thing, the whole reason for putting up with these bastards. Well, one of them rich, has all the best women, the girls just go toward him. My sister, one of my sisters, was in love. Not with Rick, the Jew. When I asked, you know that Rick wanted both of your pussies? Did you know that? And they're like, yeah, God. Well, you remember Ridgely? Oh, yeah. Ridgely? Oh, my God. You know, well, I'm their brother, so I have to put up with this. We have to put up with a lot in this world. You put up with the fact that some of your friends are so far beyond you that you'll never catch up. I knew two of those. And then there's another one who's just like never going to catch up. And you just got to deny what you see because you're stuck with each other. It's just like, these are your friends. It's like, here you go. You don't have a choice. It's like, well, do you want some of these or one of those or this or that? No. Although I did know Danny, which is such a tragic fucking case, I still cry to this day. And I won't tell you that story, although it's in my prior videos. So that's all I wanted to say. I got your message. You know, you run out of options in old age. You're just left with whatever is left. It's just a handful of ashes and a handful of barely burning coals. Well, that hand gets hot. And so you count your blessings, you look to heaven, you say, what do you want? You're the one who made me. You don't want to be like imperious or importune, whatever is a bad word for doing that. You want to be humble. You come before heaven on your face, crawling. You look up, you're crying, you don't know what to say, and heaven goes, all right. And then you're out of there. You don't get much time to, I know, but this is really, maybe it's a dream, but think of it as a dream so I don't get punished for it. When you're old, you just let it out, man. Hey, it's either that or drugs. Well, speaking of which, I already had my marijuana. I'm fine for now. And I'll just go back to being my drunken... I drink a 6-pack of beer a day. I've been drinking a 6-pack of beer a day for 16 years. Because my wife died. The princess of Ukraine, that all the girls in Ukraine, including her sister, who is the second most beautiful girl in Ukraine, they all knew that Irina is the most beautiful girl in the world. Well, I married her. Well, then she got cancer and died. Well, that's a bad rap. You know what? You don't know that. And I talked with her while she was dying, which took 2 years. Incurable form of cancer. I had to talk with her. She never flinched. I've never known. So not only, it's like one of those country western singers. They just knock you dead gorgeous. It's like God just made something special for you to see. And she also has a voice like a dove and can sing like an angel. I don't know how many of these there are, but one of my other best friends, with whom I went hiking in the Sierra Nevada every year for a couple of decades, who had polio and limped. That guy could go anywhere I went. We went over Mono Pass, 12,000 feet, 12,500 if I recall correctly. He'd limp along right with me. And I'm exhausted. It's just a wonder. And he since became a lawyer, married a beautiful woman. Do we all get screwed? Yes, along the way we all get screwed. You marry the wrong woman first. You have to fade out of that, divorce. Then you find the right woman. That's typical. I haven't found any exceptions yet. Well, my parents were childhood sweethearts and they never fought and they raised 3 beautiful children. Then made the mistake of having 3 more children. We see, I don't know that. I shouldn't say that. Oh, yes, I should. I'm of age to just let it out. I don't care. You know, you got to be cautious because you don't want to transgress the laws of God or man. But you do have to get it out. And I have no one to talk to. There's nobody I know that relates to me. Nobody has ever related to me. But on one night, Ridgely Schneider and I related very well. We both dropped acid at night in late July. I believe it was August. Yes, it was, now that I recall. August. Out at the beach. And I started to say, south of San Francisco, how far? You go down to Half Moon Bay, which is right opposite San Mateo, which is on the San Francisco Bay. But you're still not to Pescadero. Pescadero is one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. And it is only like an hour and a half drive from where I was raised, so I went out there a lot, like thousands of times. It was my favorite place on earth. But it wasn't Pescadero Beach. That's for tourists. Then there's San Gregorio Beach, just north, right at the end of LSD Highway. It's been officially renamed. Highway 84 is a California scenic highway that goes from Redwood City, where I lived, right through the LSD house. LSD. Ken Kesey of Oregon. Ken Kesey, whom if you have not heard of Ken Kesey, you better find out. He's the most important man who ever lived was Ken Kesey. And he lived on that road that went out to San Gregorio Beach. Well, that's not my favorite beach either. I'm not a tourist. I'm a native. I'm a Native American, and I know where the best beach is. I'm an expert on California coast beaches. Nobody knows more about the California coast beaches. I shouldn't say I'm one of the pros. So where do you go if you're going to go anywhere? Well, you can't go there now. It's been locked down by the government. But in those days, you used to be able to just drive out to the beach and park and stay there all night. You can't now, and you never will again. So this is ancient history. But on that night, Filipovitz, my best Jew friend, who I grew up with, and I love him to this day, but God help me, I know what he is. Well, he knows what I am too. Retard. And he put up with me, so I could put up with him. It's like living with Woody Allen. You're just gonna, it's gonna affect you. Well, I affected him too. He couldn't believe how stupid I was. I know that. But he still saved my life. When I was homeless and just needed a couch for a few weeks, he gave me his couch for a few weeks. Did he charge me? Did he do what the ancient, the Jewish way of just, well, it's $10 a week? He didn't do any of that. And he let me live. And he put up with me. I just find that, what can you say? You got to get humble. It's like, thank you, God. God, you are wise. I certainly am not. And I do. That's what I do. That's why he's still my friend. We won't ever talk to each other again because we're having one of those things. But we still love each other. That's how we left off, saying that we loved each other. We do. Well, there were some other fellows out that night who dropped acid at Pomponio. Pomponio is named after some mythical gunman. He's like a legend. He's some like Mexican or partially Indian rebel in the days when they just hunted Native Americans and shot them like dogs. And so Pomponio got a name. He has a full Spanish name. But who cares? Because it's just made up. Even if it's true, it doesn't matter. But Pomponio is such a beautiful name. San Gregorio. Pescadero. Pescadero, I believe, is not Spanish, but Portuguese. Because there was a colony of Portuguese fishermen who founded Pescadero. And it's called the Place of Fishermen. That's what Pescadero means. The place where the Portuguese fishermen live. San Gregorio is Spanish. And they're only about 3 miles apart. And they're gorgeous beaches. They're number 2 and 3. But number 1 is right in between them. Because it's so different, you can walk from Pomponio to Pescadero. I've done that many times. Or you can walk from Pomponio on the beach, a white sand beach, and walk to either Pescadero going south or San Gregorio going north. But I told these bastards we're going to Pomponio to drop acid, because this is a once-in-a-lifetime shot. We're still in high school. All of us were still in high school. I was in my junior year, and every single one of these other goddamn bastards was in their senior year. So not only am I retarded, I'm the junior, but my father was a baseball player, and I played some pretty good chess. But I didn't play the guitar, and I can't play an instrument. Certainly not the drums. Although thanks for trying to teach me. Ridgely was the star. He was destined to just be great, and he is great, and I love that man with all my heart. And I've never changed my opinion about Ridge. He doesn't remember anything about me. He doesn't remember that I came and visited his family at his home. He doesn't remember that. I remember him sitting there by the pool, and he was reading, and I came up, hey, Ridge. He looked at me like he didn't even know me, because he was reading from the book of Chronicles in the Old Testament. He's deeply religious. Well, none of us were religious at all. Only Ridgely was religious. But we all knew, you got to put up with everything and your friends. I'm retarded, Rick's a Jew, Frank is a black Irishman, but we all played chess, we all smoked pot, we all drank beer, not even beer, the worst of the fucking possible drinks of foam, just Rainier Green Death Ale. Because they're idiots! These are my friends! Well, so was I. And, you just have to accept, what you see in others is probably most easily visible to you because you're probably worse. Okay? That's why you don't point the finger. Oh, but when you get to be 70 and you're running out of friends, you're running out of time, you might be induced to make some confessions and actually get aggressive. Just ornery. Is, you know what? You never listened to me then. You're not listening to me now. Because you don't care. Because you're dying. But marijuana certainly helps a smoke fire victim. Oh, keep blowing smoke into your lungs. This is what's killing you. Well, don't worry. I'll just drink 8 beers. Within the past 12 hours, I drank 12 beers. Because I'm losing my mind. There, I said it. You know, that doesn't mean that I am losing my mind. That's just my opinion. And probably not. I don't think I am. But you never know. Because if you're losing your mind, you probably don't know it. Because then there's no way to know. I could be in advanced stages of dementia, and I'm just making up an existence every day out of the cobwebs of what's left of my soul. Is, oh sure, I have a cat, and I drink tea. So I'm here. But do I have any friends? No! I don't have any friends. Now, you see, I shouldn't say that because I actually am not sure. I might have several friends that I just don't know are my friends. Because I was not read. Hey, here's your life. Here, you're just about to go out the gate. The umbilical cord. You're going to take your first breath. Read this first. No! I've never heard of such a thing. So, Ridgely, wherever you are, you got another birthday coming up. If I could come drive to see you and your wife, I would. But I can't. So, happy birthday in advance. I remember you so well. You don't remember me at all, but I don't blame you for that. That's not an accusation. Although, I guess indirectly it might be. I don't put it that way. You don't remember me because nobody does. Nobody ever remembers me. Only my wife and my teacher know me at all. Everybody else will never be able to remember me in heaven. If they were under a lie detector test and they were shown my face and just described me, I'm invisible because I'm a prophet. In your church, you had prophets, right? Yeah? Did you? I'd like to talk with you about that, because I didn't see any. And as for you playing music for God, I witnessed that. Playing the rhythm for Jesus, you're my hero from my youth. I remember you well. The Lord God Almighty imprinted your engram upon mine, and whether you respond to me, I have nothing against you whatsoever, whatever you decide. If you decide that I'm worthless, you're one of thousands, ignorant, according to the will of heaven, to protect me. It's all about me, to save my life. Because I do have wisdom. Do you? You're my last link that I can perceive. You have some power from heaven. I only have one shot at doing this right, so I'm not going to say another word. I cannot reach you. I have no car. I have no money. I have nothing. I'm absolutely abject, poverty-level poor. But I'm so glad that when I did have some scratch, I had a car. I drove to Lake Tahoe, and then I went through Ebbets Pass, down to Sonora, and God damn it, was it hell to get to you. But at the last minute you drove out, and when I saw you for the first time in decades, my heart soared like an eagle. And you've never let me down. So I'm asking a favor, but you're going to have to figure out on your own what it is, because I cannot tell you. I love you and your family and everybody who was there that day. I got hypothermia. Nobody noticed that I was shivering to death by your infinity pool. After your granddaughter squirted water in my ear, which when I fell asleep by the highway that night in my car, one of the only 2 times I've ever slept in a car, the water came out of my ear that your granddaughter squirted in my ear in your infinity pool. I will remember that day for the rest of eternity. It was so good to see you again, my friend. But I remember you when you dropped acid at Pomponio Beach with me and Flipovitz, the last of the Jews. And the sheriff was there too, who rescued me from suicide, as you recall, as I was attempting to end my life by driving into the middle of the Mendocino Mountains, which is certain death. But the sheriff gave me a call and called me back to reality, because that's what a sheriff does, and he's one of the greatest men I've ever known. And I want you to know, Sheriff, perhaps through indirect testimony, that Flipovitz, the last of the Jews, thought that you were the greatest thing since God himself. And I agree. A great man. And I'm sorry that I called you a nut. And you offered to poke me in the beak. Now, you did well. But that was the end of our fucking relationship. Nobody threatens me. Was I wrong? No. And you shouldn't have done that, Sheriff. But I forgive you. But what Rick says of your brother, Jeff Dreyer, you don't want to hear. I hope I get to see you again, too. Just so I can torture you and Ridge. And I've tried to find Flynn to torture him. But he's disappeared into the Mormon desert, where he plays tennis and will die without ever contacting any of his friends ever again, because that's what a black Irishman does. And I love him too. I like our little LSD group, because that's the same year that God came to me and transformed my soul to heaven. Do any of you realize that? I don't say fuck you, but in the old spirit of our old poker, chess, marijuana, fuck you. I say that in love. Fuck you, all. Ridge, Sheriff, Jeff, you and I got along, so I don't say fuck you because there's no reason to, but the rest of you bastards, Flip Lips, the last of the Jews, the black Irishman, the fucking wonder boy who joined the pastoress's tongues church, at which fizzled. It was all God's plan, and God has been watching over us since the beginning. How you end up is of no concern to me. My concern is to save my life, so I don't end up like you. But it's not too late for me to share what I know with you, and if you don't want it, for real, fuck you. Keep looking up. You won't, because I said it. I'm invisible. You're not peculiar in disregarding me. But if you continue to do so, it's going to cost you something. And I'm prophesying that in your church, Ridgely, with your pastoress and your false prophets right there, speaking in shit tongues. And you played drums for those shits? That was God's will. Only He knows what came of it. But I know what came of Pomponio and acid and God. We need to talk before I die. Before you die. Fuck you. Thank you.